Greetings, geeks and geek girls. It is me. I am back for another Doctor Who. Whew. Excuse me. If I sound a little out of it, sorry. And if this is a little bit short than my usual fare, sorry. But I'm just not feeling well. Also, I've got Supergirl coming up that I want to go ahead and review. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into Doctor Who. But before I do, spoiler alert, if you hadn't seen the episode, go watch it. It actually was really good. I really liked this one. Excuse me. And I'd like to see what your reaction is. Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so the Doctor and crew get to Norway. I believe she said it was 130 years in the future. After the Cotton War. After, like, the cotton ban. It was something about cotton and sheep. But anyway, wool and sheep and something like that. But anyway, so they find this cabin in the woods. It's more a fjord, but cabin in the woods is more catchy. But anyway, they go investigate. They find this little girl, Hanne. And, she's blind. And her dad left, said that he'd be back. But there's roaring of monsters going outside, so she's a little scared. So the Doctor and crew help her comfort her. They look around the house. They find this mirror. Ends up being a portal. They don't know what to what. So the Doctor, Yaz, and Graham go to investigate while Ryan stays with Hanne. And so the Doctor and crew go off. They find this place called the mid zone. I believe that's what they called it. It's a zone that is created when the world is at risk of breaking, when reality is at risk of breaking down. It's like a place between dimensions. Which, fun fact for you, this isn't the first time that the Doctor has been here. I believe back during the second Doctor's era, he had to deal with something similar. But a lot more homemade and less expensive budget-wise. Sorry. But anyways, so they find these like killer moth things. They're not mothler, they're not friendly like her. And so they run, and while running, they go through what they think is the mirror. But it's a nicer place. It's more upkept. They find the dad, but then the dad reveals that he isn't alone. That he's with the girl's mother, who's also there. Her dead mother, who knows all these things about her mother, and so they're like, okay, that can't be. And just when they're starting to think, hey, things are getting a little off, the show goes and stabs you in the fucking heart and brings back Grace. It has Grace show up as a way to keep Ryan, to keep Graham, and to tether Graham to this place. Because yes, we find out that this place is manipulating everything. It's a sentient realm. It's a sentient, like, area called the Light Track, I believe that's the name of it. And basically the doctor gives the explanation of what it is. It's based upon myths that her gran used to tell her grandma. Apparently she had 7, but Grandma 5 was her fave. Even though she used to say that Grandma 2 was secretly a Zygon spy. But she's right about the light trick thing. Because apparently it's this realm thing that was there at the beginning of all of creation. But nothing could form into life and form into our known reality. Because it was there. The doctor gave the analogy. It's a kid with highly contagious, highly active chicken pox, and he wants to join his friends, and he wants to join in and have fun, but he can't because he's got the chicken pox. It's kind of like that. So apparently this dimension here lured the dude in, the father, so that he could live out with the dimension, and so that the dimension wouldn't be alone. But of course the doctor and crew came in, so that's messed up some things. And all these people are starting to like break down the reality, and them being there will kill both realities. And if that wasn't good enough, Ryan is not that great with kids, or at least he wasn't at the beginning, so he kind of lies to Hanne, and she senses something's going on, so she knocks him out and goes and runs and goes for the mirror. He wakes up and runs after her, saves her from some killer moth things, but together they run and they end up in the light track dimension. And instantly when they get there, the blind girl, Hanne, is like, "You're not my mother." Because I guess she can kind of sense it with her with her being blind, and that her other senses are heightened. No, I'm not saying she's fucking Daredevil. But the heightened senses thing is real. Also, she can probably not rely on her sight, so she can sense it, and she can sense that it's not her mother. But anyway, so she's like, "You're not my mother," and she causes a stink, and so the dimension throws her out. Yeah, starts complaining, it throws her out. Meanwhile, I might mention that Ryan never left the interdimensional thing. So, he never got to see Grace. Or this universe's version of Grace. And it starts sending out people. The doctor's talking to Graham, giving this awesome speech about how it's not her, and how she knows that he blames himself for how she died, but it's not his fault, that he really shouldn't do this, that Grace wouldn't want this. And then the real Grace says something that Grace would never say. And that's, Ryan's fine. He doesn't need help. So he's like, "You're not my real Grace. I wish you were." And it's like all this time with this stuff with Grace, I'm trying to gloss over it, but meanwhile, the whole entire time that she's on the screen, it's like, my heart. Especially her and Graham. It's like, my heart. But anyway, so trying to not think about that, the dimension realizes that it's not going to get anything with Graham, so it pushes him out. And then it's just the doctor and Eric, I believe was his name, Haynes' father. And the universe wants someone to talk to. And so the doctor's like, okay, you can... And Haynes' father doesn't want to go. So she's like, okay, you can stay. But reality, you want stories. You want experiences. This man is just a mortal man. And she goes off on this whole speech about how she lived so many lives, lost so many people, loved so many people. And it's just, pure doctor, take me instead. I will sacrifice myself to protect this human type speech. Bravo, Jody. Please don't let that rumor about a one-season wonder be true. And so the dimension throws him out and like officially kind of reveals itself to the doctor. It takes away the sham of the cabin until it's just like this light stuff, and then the doctor walks in and there's this little chair podium thing, and on it is a frog, and the frog is talking in Grace's voice. And apparently the universe chose that form of the frog because it amused Grace, and so it amuses it. And that it was a creature that Grace had an affinity for. So it kind of feels like it has an affinity for it. And so the doctor's ready to give herself and to stay there forever. Even though she can't see her friends ever again, and it makes her really sad. But then she starts to notice the dimension is still breaking down. It can't hold just her. So she's like, okay, I will be your friend. We can be really good friends. But we have to be friends who live in different dimensions. Because you'll kill yourself and my dimension. And you don't want to be responsible for all of that. So this is all a great allegory, analogy for losing someone and having to let them go, but it's just done so well. And it's so sad and somber, but the universe lets the doctor go. They run, get back to their home dimension, say goodbye to everyone. The dad and the daughter are going to go to like an actual city with Wi-Fi and stuff. And then we have a leftover moment with Graham where he's just solemn, thinking about Grace and all. Don't want to get on the TARDIS. So Ryan starts talking to him, and at the end, he calls him Granddad, and it's just like, oh, my heart. Again, why you do this to me, Doctor Who? Only other way that could have been even more emotional is if, like, a returning companion or something came around. Or even if just Ryan and Graham fist bumped, which they have to fist bump next episode. Which will be the finale. But this is it for the penultimate episode. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you can join me in a couple hours for Supergirl. That's it for now. Till next time and beyond.